Hey folks, it's Jang here from ultimaterc.com with another little kit building tips video. This time I'm just going to be looking at the process of putting diff balls into a ball diff. I'm not going to go through the whole process of building the entire differential. There are two major steps that can be a little bit harrowing, a little bit potentially intimidating or even frustrating for folks building ball diffs. And one of those is putting the balls into the diff itself. You are not going to see this on camera most likely, but in this case you do have to insert the balls from one side because the other side has little bits of cages, little stops in there that will actually stop them from going through if you push them in too far. Step one, get your ball diff grease. Make sure that you're using the right grease and actually get grease into the holes themselves. I just take the whole tube, make sure that there is some grease about to come out, and I just push it down over the hole, squeeze a little bit out into there, and you know, sometimes there's going to be a little bit too much that comes out of this, and don't have to really worry about that too much. Try not to get a tremendous amount in there, but enough that as you'll see in a minute, you're going to want there to be enough to actually hold the ball in place. And then once you've got grease in all of the holes, now it's time to do the tough part, the scary part, actually getting the balls in there. Now there's a bunch of different ways that you can do this. I'm going to try to show a couple of them. One thing that you can do is take a toothpick, get a little bit of your ball diff grease on the toothpick, and then use the toothpick to actually pick these up. This tends to work well with smaller balls because they don't have a lot of weight. In this case, it's actually not working so well because these are larger balls. If you have the smaller ones, it's going to pick it right up, and you know, just keep the gear or keep the pulley over an area that's going to catch them back into it, but you can just go right down, pick it up, and put it on there. In this case, that's actually not working out, so I'm going to move on to the second option. You can either pick these up with your finger, and a nice little thing that I do for that is just trap it underneath both fingernails. It does require that you have a little bit of fingernail there, but you can just trap it underneath there. It's not going anywhere. Do keep it over something that's going to capture it, and then you can just drop it. You try to just drop the ball, literally, not figuratively. Drop the ball right onto the center of where that grease is over a hole, and it's just going to hold it there. It's now not going to roll out of the way. If you do not trust your fingers that much, then put a little bit of ball diff grease onto a set of pliers, preferably something with a nice wide end like this, a wide flat end. You can use that to pick these guys up there and drop it onto it. Just try to drop it onto the grease, and then it will actually settle down into it a little bit. Another thing that's especially helpful if you are doing a pulley or a gear that has a whole lot of these, rather than doing it one by one the whole time, I'll just take my finger, plug up that center hole, and pour all these guys right on there. In this case, I think I do have some extras on there, but I'll just pour them on there and then just kind of inch them around, nudge them around into the holes until we get one into each. The edges of this gear actually has ridges going around it. They're going to keep any extras from falling off to the sides, and it just makes it a lot more convenient to get a lot of them in there quickly. So those have settled in there now, and I actually have two spares. I'm just going to knock those out. And there we go, they're all settled in. So just by having the main thing here is having the grease actually inserted before you do anything. You don't grease the balls themselves, leave them completely untouched. Make sure that they're in a container, not in the little bag. Make sure that they're out where you can get to them easily, and then it's your choice of either picking them up one by one, or if you've got a whole bunch of on there, just plug that center hole and spill them on out, roll them around, and they'll get in there. And because the grease is only in those certain spots, they will tend to settle around those areas. Even if you were a little bit sloppy like I was here on the edges, they'll still stop roughly very close to where they need to be, and you can just nudge them to the side. Then once you've got them all basically seated in there, just come around with the back of your fingernail and just push each one in just as far as it needs to go. It's just a little pop. Depends on the manufacturer. Some of them will actually require a little bit more force. This one's not requiring much force at all, but just pop it in. Each time I'm actually keeping another finger on the back side just to make sure that I don't accidentally push them all the way through. And even if they don't have these little cages, these little stoppers like this particular one did, the fact that there is grease in there will generally just stop it. And there you go. Now you're ready to go ahead and install this onto your vehicle, and you're going to be ready to go. So I hope that was a helpful, just small, tiny little tip for dealing with one small, tiny, but often frustrating little bit of kit assembly. If you have any kit assembly tips that you want to share on your own, please be sure to stop by the friendly forums at ultimaterc.com and post them up in the appropriate forum. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and I will be seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.